Hello, this is Brian David Marshall coming to you from the Tournament Center at Pro Tour San Diego. I'm here with tournament frontrunner Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis is off to a 12-0 start in this tournament. I got to watch him draft at the beginning of day 2. He had a great draft at the end of day 1. You drafted mono black vampires.
I took March Casualties and Gatekeeper of Malakir and never took a non-black card.
Yeah, and the deck looked amazing. You had a great line. You were like, I had to choose between Anawan and Smother, 5th pick.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
So coming into day 2, what were your thoughts about the draft format?
I didn't have anything I was going to force. If anything, I kind of tended toward mono red because I knew Nassif drafted it in the last draft. I was passing to him and I knew I'd play him round 1. But as it was, I opened Eldrazi Monument, and that lends itself to particular strategies.
So yeah, that was definitely the headliner tournament. You guys both started day 1 at 8-0.
Yeah.
Nassif versus LSV. This time it's draft. So you first pick Monument, and then you open up your second pick. We're getting ahead of ourselves here on World Wake, but let's talk a little bit about what you were doing in the first 2 packs.
So I opened Eldrazi Monument over basically nothing. It was not a hard pick. Monument's very good. And the second pick, I could take Grazing Gladeheart, Umara Raptor, or Heartstabber Mosquito were like the front runners. And Monument's just so much better in a green deck. And I actually kind of liked mono green. I beat a mono green deck in the finals of the first draft, and it looked pretty good. So I just took the Gladeheart, especially since Monument's not that good in blue, and Heartstabber's not that good of a card. I mean, it's good, but it's not insane.
So then your third pick.
Third pick was close. It was Nissa's Chosen or Timbermaw Larva. And even if I wanted to be mono green, Nissa's Chosen, I think, is slightly ahead. Timbermaw Larva is excellent. He's like a 6/6 or 7/7 for 4 on attacks, but a 2/3 on turn 2 is just, changes games, and green gets a lot of expensive guys. So.
Right. And three toughness is really pivotal in this limited format.
Right, I mean, when everyone has 2 drops and 1 drops even, playing a 2/3 on turn 2, which makes their 2 guys not able to attack, then on your turn you can attack and play another guy, puts you pretty far ahead. And then as it turns out, I wield the Timbermaw Larva, and that's when I knew the coast was pretty clear.
Yeah. So now you go into your second pack of Zendikar.
Right.
And you first pick a Vines of Astrid.
I first picked Vines of Astrid. It's the best green card, and it's really good. You want 2 or 3 tricks in your green decks, and Vines is by far the best one, because it counters any sort of removal spell, not just damage-based ones like Groundswell, for example. It also counters control magic effects. It also counters their beneficial things on their creatures. It's just overall a pretty insane card.
Right. And then were there any other green cards in that pack that you took that over?
No, there's nothing I really expected to get out of that pack.
So then you get your next pack.
Pack 2 was pretty interesting. There was Lotus Cobra, Oran Reef Survivalist, Riverbow, and a Vines. So off the bat, I knew I was going to wheel one of them.
There was also an Oran Reef.
Recluse?
The land, right?
No, that was in pack 1.
Oh, that was in pack 1.
I actually took the wheeled Timbermaw Larva over Oran Reef Vastwood. So yeah, green was really open. So anyway, there's Vines, Lotus Cobra, Riverbow, and Survivalist. At this point, I had no allies, and I think Riverbow is the best of all the 3 drops, especially since I'm mono green and have no allies. And so I took that. Pretty sure I was going to wheel one of the other ones, and wheeled the Vines. So my first and 10th picks were the same cards.
Now, do you think people overvalue allies at this point, going into the third pack?
I've had a lot of experience drafting allies, and I think they're good, but I don't think you should go nuts on them. You should treat them as Umara Raptor's not a 4/4 for 3. It's like a 2.5 for 3, and sometimes you get a couple allies and it's really good, but I mean, bending your deck to support allies is just overall not worth it.
Okay. And so now you're done with 2 packs. You're pretty much mono green. You had a couple blue cards in there, kind of speculatively.
2 Whiplash Traps, just randomly, but yeah.
And now you're going into World Wake. Traditionally it was a third pack of Zendikar. You're thinking, I'm going to do the same stuff I did in the first 2 packs, but now World Wake's in the picture. How does that change drafting a green deck? What are the cards you're expecting? What are the commons now that you're looking for?
I mean, there's a Grey-Pelt Hunter, the big ally, the 3/3 trample. Arbor Elf,
who's good even if you don't have.
Right, and I'd gotten a late Turn Timber Ranger in pack 2. So there's Arbor Elf, who's very, very good, and then there's some random big guys. There's Vastwood Zendikon is actually pretty good. It's a hasted Crawlworm. And then there's some random, the Reach 2/1 Grappler Spider.
Grappler Spider.
Yeah, he's decent too.
So let's take a look at your first pack in World Wake. What were you thinking about on these cards here?
So this was not a very exciting pack. Summit Apes is just not that good in a non-red deck. Both these guys, the Gnarly Pack and the Grappler Spider, are pretty close. Pilgrim's Eye is good, and I definitely play it, but in a mono green deck you don't need it. And Lodestone Golem is actually very good. I mean, a 4-mana 5/3 with no text, you definitely play. That's already very good. And the fact that his ability is more likely to hurt them than you because you have a 5/3 in play by definition.
Right. And you're green, which tends to have some opportunities.
Right, if you curve out and you're on the play and play a lodestone golem, that's just, yeah, I mean, that happened in one of my games, actually. My opponent didn't have a 3-drop, and then I played lodestone golem, he had to ship back turn 4 again, because, you know, he didn't have a 3-drop, and now he couldn't play a 4-drop. So.
Great. So, all right, so you take the lodestone golem,
pretty sure I was also going to wheel one of those 2 cards.
Sure. So we go to pick 2. And talk about this pack. Again, not terribly exciting here.
No, I mean, I wasn't too thrilled, but a 3-mana 2/3 with Vigilance, which is actually a decent ability in a race. I mean, that's fine. I needed more creatures. I have, you know, Eldrazi Monument and had already 2 Vines of Vastwood. So I went into pack 3 with about 10 creatures. I wanted to pick up like 6 or 7 more. Right.
And you know, I mean, based on the other green cards you've wheeled, you're almost certain that the Garden's going to come back to you.
Good with Eldrazi Monument too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. A little nice fodder for the Monument.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go on to the next pack. And this is where we see one of the prime green commons.
Yeah, this I was pretty happy. Like, Grey-Pelt Hunter is good, and I already had a Turn Timber Ranger. Nothing, wasn't very close. I mean, Hedron Rover is just not as good as a always 3/3 with another ally, Trample, etc. So.
Right. And a lot of people I see pick Explore, and you seem to never even look at the card.
Yeah, I mean, I think Explore is good in some decks, but the decks Explore is good in are just not good decks. Like, you don't want to draft a deck with a really high curve that needs Explorers because sometimes you don't draw them. Then you've got a bunch of expensive spells, and you know. Also, if you know the 2-land Explore hand is kind of iffy too. So.
Sure. Okay. Now this is the pick I'm really excited to talk about. Pick 4.
This is a very close pick.
So you've already got a Turn Timber Ranger. You've already got a Grey-Pelt Hunter. There's another Grey-Pelt Hunter in this pack.
Yeah.
It seemed to me that was the obvious pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a former greedier self of mine would have taken it, but the more I draft this format, the more I realize, like, you can't get clogged up with too many 4-drops and 5-drops. And at this point, I had a Grey-Pelt Hunter, a Turn Timber Ranger, 2 Timber Maw Larvas, a Territorial Bailoff, and Arbor Elf just leads to these ridiculous unbeatable nut draws. Like, I mean, I had a game where I'd turn on Arbor Elf, turn 2 River Boa, turn 3, like, you know, Timber Maw Larva, and, like, turn 4 another guy. Like, those are the kind of draws you want, and I think you overload on 5-drops and 4-drops anyway. So, with much regret, I took the Arbor Elf. I was pretty sure I was getting the Vastwood Zendikon back too.
Vastwood Zendikon, by the way, is another card that combos really nicely with the Arbor Elf.
Untap
It gives you a pseudo vigilance.
Yeah. And if they haven't seen it before, like they might not realize that you can do that. So.
And so your deck ended up being mono green. It ended up working out perfectly for you. Were there any close calls?
Yeah, I had a really close match against Gabe Nassif. Game 3, it came down to both like a huge board stall, and he knew he was dead if I ever drew Eldrazi Monument, and he couldn't kill me because I had a Gladeheart. So he just sat there for 10 turns till I drew Eldrazi Monument. It was kind of miserable for him, but he couldn't. You can't concede there. So.
Right. And so now you're 12-0. You've actually done better than your start at Pro Tour Kyoto last year, at the start of last season. What does the rest of the day look like for you?
Hopefully win 4 more matches. I mean, I want to keep going. I mean, there's no reason to stop.
You'll really go for the 16-0?
Yeah, I think if it's like a good friend of mine and I play, like I value them in the top 8 more than trying to go XO. But I mean, honestly, like all things being equal, I would rather win my matches.
Okay, well, there you have it from LSV. If you don't know him, you better be ready to fight him in the last 4 rounds of the tournament. Signing off for LSV, this is BDM. Talk to you soon.